Welcome back to this week's podcast from Pat Stewart's book called Love Stories. Pat's brother-in-law, Paul, was well known as a ham radio operator in the St. Joe area. One night, in an emergency, he used his radio to ask for help. Here's the story, WA0PDJ. Part 2, Connecting. WA0PDJ. His license plate read WA0PDJ. Folks around St. Joseph, Missouri knew Paul to be ready to help in evacuating Missouri River flood victims or any other crisis. He liked to be known as Pretty Darn Juicy. He had unique uses for his ham radio. As a salesman for Metropolitan Life Insurance Company in the 1950s, he often used his radio to contact customers who didn't answer the door when he called for payment. His wife, Barbara, also a ham, monitored the base station and listened for Paul's request to call an uncooperative customer on the phone. She telephoned the customer and called Paul on the radio to tell him someone was home. After receiving Barbara's call on his radio, Paul went to the door and collected the premium. In the following years, Barbara died and Paul married Betty. They lived in Branson, Missouri, known for its family-oriented country music shows. They had a year of seeing Shoji Tabuchi, Bobby Vinton, Andy Williams, and Tony Orlando. Paul's emphysema grew worse. After years of fighting this disease, he was hospitalized with chronic pulmonary disease. Anyone who's ever been a patient in a hospital will understand Paul's frustration. It was late at night and his call button had disappeared. He had no way to get the night nurse's attention. His pain and anxiety increased. "I'll be here in pain till hell freezes over unless I get someone to come in here," he thought. He got on his Yaesu handy-talkie, conveniently at his bedside, and called Billy Farrell. November 0 Mike Lena Romeo, or N0MLR. Billy was in his truck in nearby Hollister, monitoring 2-meter FM on the 147.15 repeater. As Billy described the conversation, he couldn't get a hold of the nurses, so he just hollered at me on the amateur radio, and I answered him. He asked me if I could make a phone call. I have a mobile phone in my truck, so I called the hospital. I made the phone call, got a hold of the nurses station up there, and told them that Paul Stewart was having a problem and that they needed to get on up there. He had given me his room number. The nurse said, "Okay." They got there Johnny on the spot, and he answered me back then. Paul said, "Everything's okay, here they come now." Picture a nurse on the night shift at 11 p.m. doing the myriad of tasks of a modern hospital. The phone rings. Who are you? Where are you anyway? Getting a call from a ham operator in a truck to report a patient needing care doesn't happen every night. Hams all over Missouri got a chuckle about Paul using his radio to get help from nurses just down the hall. He had lived long enough for his brother from South Carolina to visit him. Who knows? If he hadn't had his handy-talkie, his brother might not have seen him alive. Paul died 2 weeks later. As Billy said, "That's just part of amateur radio. I didn't do anything special, just part of helping out, amateur radio-wise. Just doing our thing, as they say." To me, it's just part of what amateur radio is all about. We help out whenever we can, and we do whatever we can. Paul had used his radio to help others. Later, when he called for help, Billy stepped in and did a good turn. Paul is gone now, and his friends and his family in Branson and St. Joseph still laugh about the unique ways that WA0PDJ used his radio skills. Pat loved being married to a Stewart. She loved the traditions like bagpipes, tartans, castles, and kilts. She was especially impressed with the Stewart clan when she went to Robert Burns' birthday party and got a taste of their traditional dish called haggis. How did she like it? Find out next week.